Please? Just make it fast, the CO said. The single dad took off his jacket and changed everything. Please? Just make it fast. The emergency room doors slammed open at 11:47 p.m. Rainwater streaked across the white floor as paramedics rushed in, shouting numbers, pushing a gurney hard enough that its wheels screamed in protest. A woman lay strapped to it. Mid-30s. Designer heels dangling from one foot. Blood in her hair. Skin pale, almost gray. Her breathing was wrong. Too shallow. Too slow. BP dropping. Possible internal bleeding. Where's the trauma doctor? No answer. The nurse looked up, panic breaking through her training. Doctor still not here. The woman on the gurney turned her head weakly, eyes glassy but sharp enough to understand one thing. She might not make it. Her fingers reached out blindly and caught fabric. Rough. One. Two. She gripped it like a lifeline. Please, she whispered, voice cracking. Just make it fast. I don't want the pain. The man whose jacket she was holding didn't pull away. He leaned in. Close enough that she could hear his breathing, slow, steady. Calm in a room full of chaos. No, he said quietly. We're not doing fast tonight. His voice wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. Listen to me, he continued, tightening his grip just enough for her to feel him there. You're still breathing. That means you're still here. Her eyes fluttered. The nurse hesitated. Sir, you can't. The man had already taken off his jacket. He folded it carefully. Pressed it against the bleeding at her side with practiced precision. His hands didn't shake. Pressure here, he said, not asking. Keep her warm. Talk to her. Don't let her drift. The nurse blinked. Okay. Only then did the overhead lights fully hit his wrist. Faded numbers. Military style. The woman noticed too. Her pupils focused for the first time. You, she whispered. Who are you? He met her gaze, steady and unafraid. Someone who's going to stay with you until help gets here. Pause. Then softer, still breathing. That's all I need you to do. 7 minutes later, the trauma team burst in. By then, the bleeding was controlled. Her pulse, weak but present. Her breathing steadier. The doctor stared at the monitors. Then at the man. You stabilized her? The man stepped back, already reaching for his jacket. She did the hard part, he said. She stayed. As they wheeled her toward surgery, the woman twisted her head, searching. She found him once more. Their eyes locked. Her lips moved. Thank you. He nodded once. And disappeared back into the hallway. At 6:05 a.m. Ethan Ward clocked out. Same as always. He washed his hands. Fixed his collar. Walked past the ER like nothing extraordinary had happened. In the cafeteria, a little girl sat at a corner table surrounded by crayons and half-finished homework. She looked up and grinned. Daddy? Ethan smiled, the kind of smile that only existed for her. Did you wait up again, Grace? She shrugged. I was drawing. She slid a page toward him. A stick figure man with a cape. A big heart in the middle. Written in shaky letters. My dad helps people breathe. Ethan swallowed. It's perfect, he said softly. She tilted her head. You look tired. He kissed her hair. Yeah. But everyone's still breathing. Grace nodded seriously like that meant everything. Outside, dawn crept over the city. Somewhere upstairs, a CO fought for her life, unaware that the man who saved her would never ask for credit. And never expect thanks. Subscribe to the channel if you believe the strongest heroes don't wear capes, they wear patience. Still breathing, Olivia Hart woke up to silence so expensive it almost hummed. The room was glass and white in sunlight. No beeping machines screaming panic, just a soft, steady monitor ticking like a polite reminder that her heart had decided to stay. She blinked. Pain came second. Not sharp. The kind that reminded you something important had been rearranged. She inhaled slowly. Still breathing. That phrase surfaced from the fog before memory did. Her fingers curled into the sheets. A nurse appeared instantly, smiling the way people do when they're trying to keep you calm without lying. Good morning, Miss Hart. You gave us a scare. How long? Olivia croaked. 6 hours post-op. Surgery went well. You're stable. Stable. Olivia stared at the ceiling. Stability was something she usually engineered for other people. Stock prices. Board confidence. Market dominance. Not survival. She turned her head slightly. The window showed the city waking up. Cars. People. Lives continuing without her permission. She swallowed. There was a man, she said slowly. Before surgery. The nurse adjusted her for security. Olivia frowned. Security? Yeah, Ethan. Night shift. He kept you conscious until Dr. Reyes arrived. Pause. He wouldn't leave your side. Something tightened in Olivia's chest that had nothing to do with surgery. He said I'd see the sunrise, Olivia murmured. The nurse smiled. Looks like he was right. By the time Olivia was moved to the private recovery floor, the news had already begun sniffing. CEO of Heart Tech injured in late-night crash. Condition stable. Sources say alcohol not involved. Her assistant, Marcus, arrived with 3 devices and a look that suggested he'd aged 5 years overnight. Thank God, he breathed. The board was circling. Olivia closed her eyes. I don't want press. They already know. But we can control the narrative. She opened her eyes again. Sharp now. Awake. Who saved me? Marcus hesitated half a beat too long. Hospital staff. That's not what I asked. Marcus sighed. A security guard helped stabilize you until the doctor arrived. But Olivia, no, she said quietly. Marcus stopped. We don't need that angle, she continued. It invites questions. Liability. Why a non-medical employee intervened. He's trained, Marcus said carefully. That doesn't matter, Olivia replied. I don't want speculation. Say the medical team handled it. Marcus nodded. Understood. As he left, Olivia stared at her hands. They were shaking. That night, Ethan Ward reported for duty at 10 p.m. sharp. Same routine. Badge scan. Radio check. Coffee poured exactly halfway so it wouldn't slosh. Jenny, a young ER nurse, leaned over the desk. You're famous upstairs. Ethan raised an eyebrow. Did I break something? She asked about you. Ethan paused. She okay? Yeah. Private suite. Top floor. He nodded once. Good. Jenny studied him. You know, most people would at least peek in. Get a thank you. Ethan shrugged. She doesn't owe me anything. Jenny snorted. That's not how owing works. He smiled faintly and kept walking. 2 days later, Olivia insisted on walking the hall herself. Doctors protested. Marcus protested louder. She ignored them both. She leaned on her crutch, moving slowly, deliberately, like she needed to prove to herself that she still could. That's when she saw him. Standing near the elevators. Back straight. Hands clasped behind him. Looking like part of the building. Invisible. Until she couldn't stop seeing him. Ethan, she called. He turned immediately. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am. The word landed wrong. I wanted to thank you, she said. For the other night. Just doing my job, he replied. There it was again. That calm. That refusal to lean in. I heard you have medical training, she added. He met her gaze. Some. Well, Olivia said, choosing her words, I'd prefer if what happened stayed quiet. His expression didn't change. Marcus stepped forward. For PR reasons. Ethan nodded slowly. Of course. Relief washed over Olivia, quick and undeserved. I don't like owing people, she added almost defensively. That's when he looked at her differently. Not angry. Just disappointed. Then don't, he said evenly. Just live better. He walked away. Olivia stood there, stunned. No one talked to her like that. No one ever had. That evening, Grace waited in the cafeteria with her backpack and crayons. Ethan sat beside her, helping with spelling. How do you spell hero? She asked. He smiled. Hero. She frowned. That's short. Sometimes that's enough. Grace looked at him suspiciously. Did something bad happen? No, he said gently. Just different. She nodded like she understood everything. Children often did. 3 nights later, St. Haven Hospital hosted its annual charity gala. Black ties. Cameras. Applause that echoed off marble. Ethan stood near the back wall. Invisible again. Until the alarm screamed. A man collapsed near the stage. Elderly. Blue-lipped. Not breathing. Chaos. Someone yelled for a doctor. Ethan was already moving. Kneeling. Checking pulse. Starting compressions. Sir, he murmured. Stay with me. Still breathing. That's all we need. 30 compressions. 2 breaths. Again. The man gasped. The room exhaled. When paramedics arrived, Ethan stood back. Ready to vanish. But this time someone was watching. Olivia Hart. And this time she saw everything. That night, Olivia requested Ethan's file. The truth unfolded in black and white. Combat medic. 3 tours. Decorations. Sacrifice. Single father. Grace, age 8. Her chest burned. She remembered his jacket, his hands, his voice. She remembered telling him to stay quiet. Her reflection stared back at her from the glass. And for the first time in years, she didn't like who she saw. Subscribe if you believe real strength doesn't demand attention, it earns it. The press conference was not on the schedule. That's how everyone knew something was wrong. Reporters flooded the Heart Tech building anyway, cameras balanced on shoulders, microphones already extended like accusations waiting for a mouth to answer them. Inside, Marcus paced. "This isn't smart," he said for the 5th time. "We didn't prepare talking points. Legal hasn't cleared." "I don't need clearance," Olivia Hart said calmly. She stood alone in front of the glass wall overlooking the city. Morning light crept between buildings, pale gold and unassuming. Still breathing. She turned. "Let them in." At St. Haven Hospital, Ethan Ward sat in the cafeteria across from Grace, trying to explain fractions using sugar packets. "If you have 4, he said, lining them up, "and you give away 1, then you're bad at planning," Grace said. He laughed. "A real one. Fair." A nurse rushed in breathless. "Ethan, turn on the TV." He frowned. "Is something wrong?" "Just, trust me." The screen flickered on. Olivia Hart stood at a podium. No script. No smile. Just her. "My name is Olivia Hart," she began. "And last month I almost died." The room went silent. Grace froze. "That night I was pulled from a car wreck and brought to St. Haven Hospital," Olivia continued. "There was no trauma doctor available. No guarantees." Ethan felt his stomach drop. "The person who kept me alive," she said slowly, deliberately, "was not a surgeon. Not a specialist. Not someone with authority." She looked directly into the camera. "He was a single father working the night shift as a hospital security guard." Gasps rippled through the press room. Grace looked up at her dad. "That's you." Ethan couldn't speak. "His name is Ethan Ward," Olivia said. "And I owe him my life." Images flashed behind her, military photos. A younger Ethan in uniform. Medals pinned to his chest. "He is a decorated combat medic," Olivia continued. 3 tours. Countless lives saved. A silver cross for valor. Her voice trembled. "And when he saved me, I asked him to stay quiet." Ethan closed his eyes. "I told him I didn't like owing people," she said. "What I didn't understand was that some people aren't looking to be owed. They're looking to serve." The room erupted in murmurs. "Ethan Ward," Olivia said, eyes shining, "if you are watching, please stand." All eyes in the cafeteria turned. Grace tugged his sleeve. "Daddy." He shook his head. "I don't." She hugged him fiercely. "You help people breathe." Slowly Ethan stood. The applause on the screen became thunder. Olivia swallowed hard. "I was wrong," she said. "I misjudged him. I diminished him. And I am sorry." She bowed her head. "I am better because of him." After the conference, everything changed. Job offers poured in. Interviews. Recognition. Ethan declined most of them. But one offer stayed. The Hart Foundation requested a meeting. Flexible hours. Community-focused. Purpose-driven. Grace looked at him over breakfast. "Would you still come to my school plays?" "Yes." "And help people?" "Yes." She nodded solemnly. "Then okay." Weeks passed. Ethan and Olivia worked together often. At first it was awkward. Then honest. Then easy. They walked the hospital grounds one afternoon reviewing plans for a new clinic. "You don't have to come every time," Ethan said. "I want to," Olivia replied. Grace played nearby. Another child fell. Scraped knee. Tears. Grace ran over, pulled a bandage from her pocket and applied it carefully. "There," she said. "Still breathing." Olivia laughed, soft and real. "She's incredible," Olivia said. "She gets that from her mom," Ethan replied gently. Silence settled. Warm. Set. Sure. One evening, Ethan found a letter slipped under his office door. "Ethan, you saved me twice. Once from death, once from who I'd become. I don't know how to repay that. But I'm trying to live better. Thank you for seeing me." Olivia. He folded it carefully and placed it in his pocket. A year later, the Ward Center for Community Healing opened its doors. Free care. Veteran services. Mental health support. Sunlight streamed through wide windows. Olivia stood at the podium. "The man who inspired this center never asked for recognition," she said. "But some stories deserve to be told." She gestured. "Ethan Ward." Grace pushed him forward. "Go." He laughed nervously and stepped up. I'm not great with speeches, he said. I'm better with heartbeats. Soft laughter. But healing isn't just for the wounded, he continued. It's for anyone who still cares enough to show up. He looked at Olivia. We all carry scars. The question is, do we build walls or bridges? Grace ran on stage holding a drawing. A man kneeling beside a woman, his jacket covering her. A bright heart between them. Written in crayon, Dad gave jacket. Lady lived. The crowd melted. Olivia stepped forward with a small box. Inside, a simple medal. Engraved, please don't make it fast. Stay. She pinned it to his chest. You told me I'd see the sun rise, she whispered. I've seen 1,000 since. Ethan met her gaze. Some pain's worth feeling, he said. She smiled through tears. Yeah. Behind them the sunrise poured in, golden, gentle, earned. Heroes don't move on from saving. They just find new reasons to keep doing it. Subscribe if you believe compassion is the quietest form of strength. Type sunrise if this story stayed with you.